Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, Prime Minister Frendel Stewart is expected to chair a meeting of the full social partnership a week earlier than previously announced. The correspondence was received by both Labour and private sector officials today. However, they're saying despite the new date, they're still seeking some clarity ahead of that meeting. Ryan Broom has more.
This latest development comes 3 days after a national march staged by the island's major unions and the Barbados Private Sector Association. General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, has confirmed that they received notification of the meeting, which will now be held on August 11th instead of the 18th. She says while the unions wanted the date moved to deal with the urgent matters put forward, it is not clear what the agenda for this meeting will be. Ms. Moore adds that the new date is still 2 weeks away and they are awaiting further clarification as to exactly what will be discussed.
This does not tell us much about our concerns. It's that our concerns which we've been raising for the last few weeks, that these are going to be addressed. And you know, those concerns related to a call for urgent dialogue. Certainly it doesn't address the concern of urgency because August 11th is another 2 weeks away. It also does not tell us much about if this is to set about any responses to our call for easement for our constituents.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Charles Herbert, also confirmed receipt of the correspondence with an earlier date. He says they have also confirmed that they are available to meet. However, Mr. Herbert also says that they have not yet received an agenda with respect to the August 11th meeting.
The correspondence did not give a reason for the change in date, and as yet the agenda for the meeting has not been set. It is not obvious to us whether this is a response to our march and our request for dialogue, because there's been no explanation. We are still looking forward to some sort of indication that this meeting will take a different format of previous meetings and that it will focus on our request to have significant, deep dialogue on a fiscal plan for the country.
Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Ryan, thanks. Public sector organizations are allowing opportunities to receive funding from international companies to bypass them. That's according to Minister of International Business, Donville Innes. He says for some reason there seems to be a reluctance by public officers to write proposals.
I see offers being made by international bodies to Barbados as a developing nation, and they are just not taken up. And I'm talking about a significant amount of money. And when they are not taken up, but the state still feels duly bound to perform the function, it means that the state therefore has to get the funding through taxes or fees that we charge. And I believe that we have to make a paradigm shift in our thinking and actions and government's end towards taking greater advantage and getting greater access to these opportunities.
Sagicor General Insurance has recorded a reduction in accidents among customers who've signed up for an initiative allowing them to benefit from being safe drivers. It's called Drive Pal and affords policyholders significant discounts depending on their driving habits. Sagicor General's Vice President for Marketing and Business Development, Mark Blakely, says the number of accidents for the group is down.
For the segment that is currently on DrivePal in our books, the frequency, which is the number of accidents to policies on our books, is significantly less than other segments. So typically an insurance portfolio will be made up of many segments: old drivers, new drivers, drivers by occupation, drivers by use of vehicle, whether it's commercial, whether it's public passenger, so forth. So we usually rate those segments differently. For us, we've seen a significant improvement in the number of accidents.
Mr. Blakely says overall the accident rate for the insurance company's book of business remains relatively unchanged.
We have maintained a pretty static loss ratio in terms of our book. It may fluctuate from month to month, But so far, what's helped us out is, as Wanda has said, we've been growing the motor book, I think, over the last 2 years. So the more policies we put on our portfolio, you tend to manage that frequency, unless we've started to just get in a bad period where a lot of people start having accidents. But knock on wood.
Well, lawmen have confirmed that they're investigating reports of gunfire in the Deacons St. Michael area last night. A voice note has been in circulation over the last 24 hours with the sound of repeated apparent gunfire said to have originated in the Deacons area. Police Public Relations Officer, Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler, confirmed for CBC News that police had indeed received reports of gunfire in Deacons. He said on responding to the report, police officers did not see anyone engaging in activity. However, evidence was seen to suggest that gunshots were indeed fired in the area. There were no reports of injuries or damage. Now, given the ongoing efforts by police to rid the island's streets of illegal guns, the acting inspector has asked anyone who may have information about the incident to contact the nearest police station. The Unicomer group of companies, which Quartz is a subsidiary of, has not increased prices on products since the National Social Responsibility Levy came into play on July 1st. Managing Director of Unicomer Barbados Group, Trisha Tanis, told CBC News a corporate statement was released assuring customers that there was nothing to fear.
I think essentially they have actually accepted the statement. They have essentially put a lot of trust in us, and they have continued to shop with us after July the 1st. We've got some very positive feedback from the comments that we've made to them proactively, and I think generally they're appreciative essentially that they can actually relax and not have to worry about essentially the Unicomer Group increasing its prices.
She was speaking at the Quartz prize-giving ceremony for customers who shopped during the company's promotion to kickstart its fiscal year. Some of the prizes won were laptops, a Curve 4K HD 65-inch Samsung television, and one Dream Cruise. We spoke to some of the winners.
Congratulations. I was shocked when I got the call, but it feels nice to be a winner.
Excited, overwhelmed.
I come to my mother's behalf, so to find out that she win it free, I feel rather good about that.
Well, students, teachers, parents and other stakeholders are now in a position to get information much easier from the Caribbean Examinations Council. This is due to the launch of the CXC Connect app. Through it, you can find the release date for exam results, actual exam results and general information about CXC. There's even an interactive chat feature where you can get your various queries answered. As he gave the keynote address, Education Minister Ronald Jones applauded the CXC for embracing technology and seeking to remain on the cutting edge.
E-marking, now we're doing submission of ESBAs in the preliminary way. You have now CXC Connect, a mobile app, e-testing, e-books, e-syllabus or e-syllabi. This is a dizzying pace, but you have to stay current.
Director of Operations at CXC, Stephen Savory, said the app makes the council more accessible to everyone.
We believe that the advent of this mobile app is the start of something really exciting and special for students, for teachers, and for other stakeholders. And we believe that this doesn't only relate to persons within the region, but indeed anyone, anywhere in the world now has the opportunity to be able to connect with the Caribbean Examinations Council's services and products on their terms.
Meantime, the Education Minister fully supports the use of technology to facilitate education. He shared his view at the launch of the CXC Connect app.
The envelope is being pushed open and open even more than it has been in the past. And if our students are to learn and learn seamlessly, to stay connected, to feel the knowledge flow from not only teachers and before them in the classroom, but feel that knowledge flow from across the world that in fact could enhance their learning, then we have to open the space. Then we have to use whatever technologies are there to be used.
Minister Jones says while he understands technology can be misused, that should not stop people from capitalizing on its capacity to improve their lives.
We are products of the Wild Wild West, and we tamed to some extent the Wild Wild West. So we will also tame that Wild Wild West where information and communications technologies exist, and actually bend them and form them to purposeful use by human beings.
Tourism officials in Barbados and the Caribbean are being asked to rethink the way they measure the industry. This from former Minister of Tourism in the Bahamas and a principal partner of the Bedford Baker Group, Vincent Vanderpool Wallace. Speaking during the annual general meeting for the Intimate Hotels of Barbados, Mr. Vanderpool Wallace said it's not wise to measure tourism by head count.
We all know that one of the dumbest things we do every single day is to measure tourism by head count. That's a habit we've been in for a long, long period of time because that's the way we compare ourselves to other people. It makes no sense whatsoever. No bank has ever put together any kind of balance sheet that shows the number of people who came into the bank that year. Nobody measures their business that way, except we continue to do that. Now, we separate stopover visitors from cruise passengers many times because it's pretty obvious. They're here for a few hours. The stopover visitors are here for a much longer period of time. That's very clear and very obvious. But also at the same time, no two stopover visitors are the same. Somebody comes and stays for 2 days, like me. It's not the equivalent to somebody who comes and stays for 2 weeks.
Meanwhile, Chairman of IHB, Omar Alahar, encouraged the organization's members to increase their use of technology, saying it can further boost business.
We need to try to embrace new technologies, social media, as Promotech was just talking about. It can only help to make us more efficient. And we have to get more competitive if we are going to compete with the wider world at the moment.
Stay tuned. We have more news after this break.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
Shoes, shoes, shoes. Shoes for casual wear, work, dress, school, hotel workers, restaurant workers, and wide-width shoes. Go to Megville. Yes, at Megville, you will get good shoes at good prices always. Located in Bridgetown on Palmetto Street, Tudor Street, and High Street.
Flow brings you superior value in home entertainment, designed around the way you watch, talk, and connect. Introducing Flow Ultra, the new TV, broadband, and home phone plan with over 165 of your favorite TV and music channels, plus 175 megabits broadband, so you can surf faster and play harder. Get basic and advanced call features and 1,500 minutes of free international calls, all yours for only $230. Sign up for Flow Ultra and save over $180 per month. Flow Ultra, the superior value in home entertainment. New from Flow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event on Saturday, August 5th at 8 p.m. The Courtesy Garage Limited Mount Gay Pick of the Crop Finals will heat up as reigning monarch Aziza battles Colin Spencer, Donella, Adrian Clark, Crystal, Classic, Edwin, iWeb, Smokey Burke, Observer, and Sir Rule at the Kensington Oval 3W's Amphitheater. Early bird ground tickets $45, early bird 3W stand tickets $60. Regular tickets are $55 for the ground and $75 for the 3W stand. Find out who will be the 2017 Calypso Monarch at the Courtesy Garage Limited Mount Gay Pick of the Crop Finals in the Kensington Oval 3W's Amphitheater on August 5th at 8 p.m.
Before I lose it, take my stress away, yeah.
Social activist David Comishong is expressing serious disappointment at the state of an historic site which honors one of the country's most revolutionary national heroes. A situation, he says, reflects very negatively on the government and people of Barbados. Kareem Smith tells us more.
It's a situation that deeply saddens the social activist and one which he believes Barbadians should be concerned about. It's the site where national hero Clement Payne in the summer of 1937 impressed upon the hearts of black Barbadians that they should fight back against the slave-like conditions oppressing them in the early 20th century. Since then, the Clement Payne movement, along with a Barbados Labour Party government, graced the Golden Square in Bridgetown with a bust and a monument dedicated to the national hero and those who fought alongside him.
This is an historic location. This is where many of Payne's public meetings were held. This is the location in which, after Payne was convicted, Payne called the Barbadian people to Golden Square. Meet with me tonight. Thousands of Barbadians came here, and it is here that the decision was made to march to Government House. This, after Payne was put into Glenderry prison, it is the Golden Square that Israel Lovell and Brian Allen and his lieutenants came to speak to the Barbadian people.
But years after the monument was set up, Mr. Comachong wants the bust of the Right Excellent Clement Osborne Payne to be as well kept as those of other national heroes like the Right Excellent Sir Errol Walton Barrow and the Right Excellent Sir Garfield Sobers. He charged that even the controversial Lord Nelson statue in Hero Square has received much more care and attention than that of the memorial to the Right Excellent Clement Payne, which is in a state of disrepair.
The Clement Payne bus that we donated has been vandalized. Part of the nose has been knocked off. The square is not properly maintained. Quite often it is overgrown. Quite often it is full of garbage. Honestly, it is really a disgrace because this is a national hero of Barbados.
And Mr. Comachong says government and citizens have continued to blatantly neglect the area, indicating a much deeper problem in society.
If we can disrespect the memory of Clement Payne, and if we can disrespect Golden Square by not treating it, with respect, by not keeping it in a pristine condition, it means that we don't really have a proper understanding of who we are as a people and where we have come from.
He's pleading with Barbadians to treat the hallowed grounds with respect. And while the Clement Payne movement remains happy to continue to take the lead in the upkeep of the grounds and even the celebrations for the Day of National Significance, Mr. Comachong is pleading with government to play a bigger role in lifting up the national hero whose name is forever associated with justice and social change. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Learning how to swim is not merely a pastime, but an essential life-saving skill that should be acquired by all. This is the view of the Environment Ministry's Deputy Permanent Secretary, Nicole Taylor. She was speaking during the relaunching of Operation Save Ourselves, or SOS, hosted by the National Conservation Commission. The program gives approximately 100 Barbadians 10 years and older the tools needed to be competent swimmers and to help save fellow swimmers if they encounter difficulty. Ms. Taylor is describing the program as extremely important for a country like Barbados that's surrounded by water.
There is no doubt that Barbados is blessed with enticing, crystal clear water. So inviting, in fact, that people travel from far and wide to enjoy it. However, as attractive as our waters are, a basic knowledge of how to maneuver while in the sea is important to avoid injury or even death. Drowning, regrettably, remains one of the most common causes of accidental death whilst at the sea.
The Young Men's Christian Association will soon be able to offer a number of improved services. It's set to undergo a major redevelopment of the Pinfold Street headquarters, pending approval from Town and Country Planning. Word of this came during the association's annual general meeting, where President Antonio Elcock announced a newly designed building has been approved by the YMCA. In addition, dilapidated structures have been removed, the surroundings enhanced, and a number of new programs developed. They're all initiatives ultimately aimed at making the country's young men better.
To make good men better, we recognize the need to have better facilitators, and facilities. To encourage families and youth to have a common meeting place for one or all wholesome activities. When the under 13 is playing a sport or engaged in a dance program, the adult can be engaged in a fitness routine or a ballroom dance program, or be the coach, class member, instructor, or mentor to the younger ones. It is hoped that within the next 6 months, we will have some measure of further enhancement leading to reaching the target audience, young minds and youth, who will eventually become the coaches and mentors of the YMCA.
Our regional segment is coming up just after the break, so stay with us.
Watch out! When the sign says danger, the sign means scram. And those high voltage signs mean move on. Move on, man! When the sign says keep out, you gotta keep on keeping on. And the sign that says warning says it's time to get along. Yeah, you gotta obey what those signs say. You got to obey what those signs say. You gotta obey.
A message from Light and Power, powering our nation's progress since 1911.
Name the capital of St. Vincent.
I have no idea.
The capital of St. Vincent is Kingstown.
Kingstown.
The capital of St. Vincent, I think, is Castries.
St. Vincent, Kingston.
Kingston. Kingston. Okay.
Gary Festa 13, Barbados.
Diamond Dazzler, it's time to play. Diamond Dazzler, the new instant $250,000 scratch game from the Barbados Lottery. Available at select lottery outlets.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event on Saturday, August 5th at 8 p.m. The Courtesy Garage Limited Mountgate Pick and a Crop Finals will heat up as reigning monarch Aziza battles Colin Spencer, Donella, Adrian Clark, Crystal, Classic, Edwin, iWeb, Smokey Burke, Observer, and Sir Rule at the Kensington Oval 3Ws Amphitheater. Early bird ground tickets $45, early bird 3W stand tickets $60. Regular tickets are $55 for the ground and $75 for the 3W stand. Find out who will be the 2017 Calypso Monarch at the Courtesy Garage Limited Mountgate Pick and a Crop Finals in the Kensington Oval 3Ws Amphitheater on August 5th at 8 p.m.
Before I lose it, take my stress away.
In prison, but in a pasture. That's essentially what the court heard as the Lusignan escapees made their appearance at the Cove and John Magistrates Court in Guyana.
7 of the 13 men who escaped from the Lusignan jail on Sunday, July 23, made their court appearance Wednesday afternoon at the Cove and John Magistrates Court before Magistrate Peter Hugh, Jamal Ford, Winston Long, Kishan McKenzie, Rayon Jones, Jason Howard, Odell Roberts, and Jamal Joseph are all charged separately with escape from lawful custody from the Lusignan jail sometime between Sunday, July 23 and Monday, July 24. Ford, Long, and Joseph did not waste the court's time and pleaded guilty. They were all sentenced to 1 year in jail each, while Mackenzie, Jones, Howard, and Roberts pleaded not guilty and were remanded to prison. In fact, Roberts and Howard told the court that they did not escape from the jail, but a pasture, and therefore could not concede the escape from lawful custody charge. The court heard from 3 of the men that they decided to set themselves free after they saw this hole being dug and other inmates were tunneling their way to freedom, temporary freedom as is referred to by Jamal Ford. Most of the men complained bitterly to Magistrate Hugh of the inhumane conditions under which they were kept at the Lusignan pasture. Some complained that they are on remand for as long as 4 years and couldn't say what's to hold up with their court hearing. The men were under tight police security who took up firing positions around the courthouse and in the courtroom. Then they were all whisked away to the Camp Street jail. Meanwhile, police have confirmed that Kendall Skeet has been recaptured. He was nabbed in an abandoned house at Wisrock Linden Wednesday. Now, 9 prisoners remain on the run, 5 from Lusignan and 4 from Camp Street on July 9.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the Port of Spain City Corporation is being accused of terrorizing Woodbrook residents. This after several people living in the area were ticketed for putting out their garbage. The residents attended the City Corporation's statutory meeting today and told the mayor they will not be paying their fines. Reporter Ria Rambali has more.
I don't know where these guys came from. Who authorized them to terrorize us?
Kingsley Hinkson has been a resident of Woodbrook for the past 70 years. But for the first time in his life, he was ticketed for putting out his garbage.
When they were writing these tickets, the truck was actually in the vicinity collecting garbage.
Several residents showed up at the Port of Spain City Council's statutory meeting where they told the mayor and city health inspector that litter wardens dished out tickets during the garbage collection period last Thursday. According to residents, the fine is $500.
So this ticket that I have here, I want to know what to do with it.
According to the health inspector, the city corporation's intention is not to terrorize the residents. The wardens, he says, were merely enforcing the Litter Act, and since he cannot rescind the ticket, he says there are 2 options.
What will have to be done is either it's contested or it's paid.
But neither option sat well with the residents, most of whom appeared to be senior citizens, with most declaring that they have no money for a lawyer nor the time to attend court. They made their position clear.
And now you are telling these senior citizens to contest it, you all deal with it. They're not going to be paid.
Port of Spain Mayor Joel Martinez assured the residents that he would review what took place and get the litter warden's perspective on what happened. Only then, he says, will the corporation be able to make a decision on how it plans to intervene. The deadline to pay the ticket is July 31st.
The First Peoples, known formerly as the Amerindians, are on a drive to rewrite the history books. They say accounts of their existence are false and leave out their diversity, accomplishments, and genocide. They're hoping their one-off public holiday, that is, can help their cause.
From textbooks, you may have called them the Caribs and Arawaks, but now you may refer to them as the First Peoples.
Mabrika, you know me? It is I who first roamed these lush hills.
And rightfully so. Long before the Europeans touched Caribbean soil, their ancestors claimed this land.
Know me, I am part of the past. I am in your present. I must be in your future.
And to protect that future, they will be using the days leading up to their October 13th national holiday to sensitize the public of their existence.
A series of lectures hosted by the University of Trinidad and Tobago will also begin from August 9th. In September, the outreach to the youth and school children will commence with activities in Port of Spain, Arima and Tobago.
Lectures which may be needed, as we learned some people do not know who the First Peoples are.
First people?
That's something hard to answer. First Peoples are? But their culture goes way beyond the Caribs, Arawaks, colorful dresses and clay pots. But it's what you may have been taught in school, and it's something that they're trying to change.
The genocide of the First Peoples was enormous. All they know about is the Caribs and the Arawaks, and the Caribs were warlike, and the Arawaks peaceful, and the Caribs kill out the Arawaks, blah, 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 blah.
There will be the usual procession through the streets of Port of Spain and celebrations in Arima on the day of the holiday. There are also plans for a First Peoples heritage site. This will all cost around $3 million, and the Ministry of Arts and Multiculturalism has been asked to assist.
We'll give you a peek into the world of sports in just a moment, but before we get to that, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Before a hurricane, you should fill your vehicle with gasoline so that it is available for emergency purposes in the event that gas stations are not working. Co-operators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.
Which Caribbean country shares their year of independence with Barbados?
Guyana.
I did not even know there was more.
Guyana.
I'm not from Barbados, I wouldn't know.
Guyana. Guyana.
I think that's Guyana.
Gary Festa 13 Barbados.
Imagine screaming for your favorite artists as they compete in the Sweet Soca and Party Monarch Finals of the MQI 98.1 The Wall Soca.